Call this City Commission of the City of Pahokee of Tuesday, October 24th, 2023 to order at 6:10 p.m. May we all stand for the invocation, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. The invocation will be provided by Vice Mayor Clara Murphy.
Father God, I want to thank you and praise you, God, for another day, God, for this is the day that you have made, and we shall rejoice and be glad in it. God, we ask you, oh God, to bring us wisdom and guidance, God, as we start our business of the city. God, we ask you, God, to bless the city of Pahokee, oh God. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mayor Babb,
Present.
Vice Mayor Mervin, Commissioner Bolden,
Present.
Commissioner Gonzalez,
Present.
Commissioner Perez,
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Thank you, Commissioners. Next on the agenda is the additions of emergency bases from the city manager. At this time, do we have any emergency additions to our agenda?
Yes, sir, Mayor. We have Resolution 2023-68. It is an addition to the Marina contract.
2023-68.
Yes, sir.
Okay, yes. Are there any additions, deletions, sorry?
That'll be it, sir.
Okay. City Commission, having heard the one addition to our agenda, what's your pleasure for the agenda presented?
Remember, I moved that we would set resolution 2023-68 as the add-on.
I second.
It has been moved by Vice Mayor Mervin and properly seconded by Commissioner Bolden for the add-on of the addition of emergency basis of resolution 2023-68, along with the remainder of the agenda that's been presented. Call for questions.
I have one.
Commissioner Gonzalez.
Why is it just now being turned in? It has to do with H. Kelly Marine. We've been dealing with H. Kelly Marine for how many months? Already 2 months. This is just being turned in, so whatever was in the process with the agreement, any contracts, why is this last minute?
City Manager, you want to answer that?
Yes, no problem, sir. Just to remind
Yes,
the commission.
I have a question.
Okay, just to remind the commissioners, we had 2 outstanding items, electrical, and also we have water sewer pump outs. So this is a contract for electrical, and time is of the essence. That's why things came together late on the selection of a vendor. That's where we at.
Just to remind the commissioner. I don't know. I would like to table this because we haven't read through it. Obviously, we haven't read through it. We don't know what's on it. He could explain it, but we still have to see what's in there too before we can make a decision to accept it or not.
There's a second to table this item.
Commissioner Perez also had a question. Commissioner Perez,
I'm on this particular question here, though.
hold on 1 second.
Is there a second? Like of a second, we'll move on. Commissioner Perez can ask a question. There's a second to table this.
I second to table it. I'm not there, I have not seen it.
Okay, we have a second then. There's a motion on the floor to table this
I
res-
second it. I second
Commissioner
it.
Commissioner
That's
Perez,
delayed.
Commissioner Perez, they heard you.
Okay, I want to table it. I'm not there.
it has been motioned to table this resolution by Commissioner Gonzalez, properly second by Commissioner Perez. Call for questions. Hearing none, are you ready for a vote? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Perez, they heard you. Commissioner Perez, could you turn down your volume because we're getting the feedback?
City Clerk, roll call on the motion.
Vice Mayor Mervin,
Yes.
Commissioner Bolden,
No, what are we voting on? I'm sorry.
We're voting
We
to
vote on
table
to
this
pass it.
motion.
No,
Okay.
sorry.
Commissioner Bolden,
No.
Commissioner Gonzalez,
Yes.
Commissioner Perez, Commissioner Perez, your vote to table the item. Commissioner Perez,
Yes.
your vote to table the item is yes.
I voted to table it.
Mayor Bear.
No. Motion failed by a 3-2
Yes.
majority.
Excuse me, Mayor Brown. We had a motion to add this to the agenda. We never voted on that.
Okay. At this time, I entertain a motion for the addition. I think that was part of Commissioner.
The first
Right.
motion was to add to the agenda.
Right, so we have voted on. Did we take a vote on it?
Not yet.
Okay. What is your pleasure as far as the agenda as the add-on has been
How the
motioned
heck did you
by,
all vote on something that you haven't even read?
it's been motioned by Vice Mayor Mervin and properly second by Commissioner Bolden. We're gonna vote on the overall agenda now.
Can you hear
Call for
Commissioner
question.
Perez?
Yes, I could
Hearing no
hear.
additional
Okay.
questions,
I
are you
don't
ready
know
for a
what's going
vote?
on there. They cannot hear me.
Roll call. She's out of order right now. She's not been addressed to speak.
She's watching, she's seeing it from the video. It's delayed. She's seeing it delayed from the video.
We're moving.
She wants you to call the roll.
Okay.
Can you hear Commissioner Perez? Yes, I could.
Commissioner Bolden,
This is what we're voting, correct?
Yeah, we're
Yes.
voting on the agenda.
Commissioner Gonzalez,
No.
Vice Mayor Mervin,
Yes.
Commissioner Perez, Commissioner Perez,
Yes.
Mayor Bab.
Yes. What was Commissioner Perez's vote?
She
guys
voted
are
yes,
doing?
but now she said she
Now she said no.
Okay. Motion to move the agenda passes by majority 3-2 vote.
Commissioner Perez? No.
Now we'll move to public comments, public service announcement, presentation, proclamation. This session of the agenda is to allow citizens from the public to speak. Each speaker will be given a total of 3 minutes to comment. A public comment card should be completed and given to the clerk. When you're called to speak, please come to the podium, mute your device, and prior to addressing the commission, please state your name and address for the record. City Clerk, are there any public service comment cards?
Yes, Mayor Bab. The first person we have is Thelma Freeman.
afternoon, everyone. I'm Thelma Freeman, and I'm out of city limits, but I reside at 38510 North 86th Street, apartment 4 in Pahokee, Florida. My question is to Mr. Lucas. In January early of this year, I was asked the question on why was I fired from working with the city of Pahokee, contracted with AARP. My question is to Mr. Babb. You run the city of Pahokee, and you know what's going on behind this, and I'm trying to figure out, have you came up with the answer for me, the reason why I was fired? I did get a letter from the state of Florida, from Elderly Affairs. I did a survey and a comment, and I also included all of you guys except Mr. Gonzalez and Sarah Perez in this comment card that I sent back. They responded back because you're under investigation. Also, under the investigation, my timesheet was falsely signed by the city of Pahokee. No one told you guys, but I have my proof. So my question is to Mr. Lucas, why was I fired?
Ma'am, I do not run the AARP arm of the program. That is done by Greg Williams. I never knew you were an employee of AARP nor the city of Pahokee.
Emma Black said that she spoke to you. Ms. Nancy Heller said she spoke to you. Those are the higher up at AARP. I've done my investigation. They solely called you out. That's the reason why Elderly Affairs gave me this information here. So that's the reason why I'm back here again in October to find out the reason. I asked this question in January. It was no need to fire me. I only been on the job for a couple of weeks, and all of a sudden, because I was speaking out on the behalf of the city of Pahokee, that I was fired. I strongly, really, truly believe that was retaliation because I'm speaking out on the behalf of all this corruption that's been done in the city of Pahokee. That's why Elderly Affairs, because I'm a senior citizen, and that's why they took this in consideration and responded back. Because with my comments and everything that I wrote in my comment card, I singled you out. Mr. Babb, I singled out because here it is now. He runs the city. That's why I addressed you, Mr. Babb, on what have you found out about that investigation on why I was fired.
I'll just speak briefly. I don't run this city. I'm the mayor of the
mayor.
city. Right, I preside over the meeting. I'm more of a ceremonial leader of the city, a spokesperson, but the city manager run the day-to-day.
But he never gave me an answer. He never gave me an answer. And I did my investigation. Here's my letter, here's my proof. And I've sent to Elderly Affairs. I am a senior citizen. That's the reason why I got that job. And for him to fire me because I'm speaking out, he's saying that he didn't do anything, it was Greg Williams. Believe me, Greg Williams said he told you not to fire me. He told you that, not to fire me. You can throw your hands, Mr. Lucas, respect me enough to say this. He told me. Understand what I'm saying? I have no reason to lie. And right now, I don't like to go confrontational. I'm just telling you because here it is now. I got my proof. Everything that I'm telling you, I got my proof, including this letter here and the text that's on my phone, what Mr. Williams said. You understand what I'm saying? I got my dates down to a T. That's why when Elderly Affairs from Tallahassee wrote me back, I called you out because here it is now. AARP said that you made that phone calls and they spoke to you concerning me being fired.
Any additional comments, cards?
I don't think it works.
Not working. Next comment card is Lolita Kynes.
Lolita Kynes, a.k.a. Scratch Scratch, 290 Parkview Court, Pahokee, Florida. Again, I am up here trying to figure out why the houses haven't been torn down in East Lake Village, why the cane field still sitting up in a residential area. I've been asking this question for months. No one gave me an answer yet. Y'all have hired 2 code enforcements. Is any of them doing their jobs? These houses been up here like this for years. Mr. Mervyn, how long you been up here? Okay, Mr. Mute. About 6, 7 years. You ain't been doing nothing you're supposed to do since you've been up there, but getting a paycheck. Mr. Babb, how long you been up there? So you mute too. So I'm finna scratch on both of y'all. The long as y'all been sitting up here on this diet, working with the city, and the city is looking like it's looking, y'all need to be ashamed of yourselves. Y'all sat up here on Miss Weeks, I got a question for you too. Why haven't Chandler got locked up and paid money back for when he stole all this money from the city?
Please,
And you supposed to be a city lawyer for Pahokee.
address the mayor as the chair of this commission. Don't address staff. If staff want to answer or need to answer.
Why can't I address
they can.
anybody?
It's part of our policy, our
Show me that in the
operation
rule book.
procedure.
Show me that in the rule book.
It's been in there, it's in the policy.
Show us in black and white, Mr. Bell.
He can't.
City attorney, could you read just that portion of the our procedure about addressing the commission?
Y'all don't want to answer no questions when it coming down to corruption. It's everything in the black and white. Y'all voting, doing stuff without voting on stuff. Y'all just doing too much up here. Y'all doing everything up here but besides fixing up this city. And the citizens, we are tired of the bull crap that y'all have going on. Y'all trying to stop the city commissioner for speaking out, giving people 2 minutes. It's sad. That mess y'all doing up here, it don't make no sense. It really don't make any sense. Have a great day.
Mr. Mayor, I didn't want to interrupt during her time, but the area in the charter, in the Code of Ordinances has to do with each member of the City Commission and the public who desires to speak shall address the mayor or presiding officer, and upon recognition by the mayor or presiding officer shall confine himself or herself to the issues under debate, avoiding all personalities and discourteous language. That's what the language states.
Thank you. Ma'am, you done spoke you out of order at this point. City clerk, are there any additional comments, cards?
Yes, Sheila Williams.
Ms. Freeman, you're out of order. You're speaking out of turn, ma'am. Thank you.
Sheila Williams. I live at 271 Booker Place in Pahokee. My concern is the tree that's next door that the property owned that has the termites in it. Mr. Lucas came out on 9/13 and brought me a inspection report from Orkin that supposedly states that there's no termites in the tree, that he brought at about 5:30, him and Mr. Carlos. And he also informed me that they're not gonna proceed and finish cutting the tree down, which I don't understand. He also stated that there is no termites in the tree, but that's where they came from, that's in my house, which I paid $1,500 to put the tent on my house. After they left, I called Carlos, who is the Orkin guy, and I spoke with him. The date on the forms is dated 9/13. After speaking to Carlos, this man didn't even know who I was after speaking to me for about 5 minutes. Then he stated, "Oh, I was there last week he wasn't there that day, which is dated 9/13. He said, oh, I came out with Greg, they wanted me to do this form, so he just wrote it up. Mr. Lucas also called Mr. Ross, who was the person who fumigated my house, and Mr. Lucas, he spoke to that man, just wanted to know why did he tell me that termites was in that tree. He just bullied that man and just talked to him any kind of way. Just told him, why did he tell me that? Mr. Lucas, you need to stop bullying people. You're gonna bully the wrong person. So I don't understand why the tree can't be cut down that's next to my property. That's full of termites. Even if I could afford to put a tent on my house again, it's not gonna help because termites are still in the tree. They're just gonna come back inside my house again.
He ain't got no house. No set that like around the
So due to my health issues, it's not safe for me to be living in the house with termites. So I guess I'm gonna have to go to channel 5 and 12 to voice my concerns, since you don't seem to care.
Isabel McDonald.
Don't say nothing about no annex and all that.
Good evening. My name is Isabel McDonald, and I reside at 199 North Elm Avenue here in the city of Pahokee. And my concern this evening specifically is Barfield Highway. And I just want to know who is responsible for overseeing and making sure that projects are started and completed in a timely manner. Explicitly, especially at this time since we are doing the Barfield Highway. Not only that project, but any project, because for the length of time that we have had to suffer through the construction of Barfield Highway, it's really not fair to any of us here in Pahokee, because I happen to also live on the street where the traffic has been detoured through because of Barfield Highway being closed down. It's like a raceway. The citizens and everybody else that has to come through and take advantage of that detour, it's like they are, racing. They don't acknowledge the stop sign there. And I have young children, grandkids that visit, and it's just really not safe for the neighborhood, period. I think I asked previously that there be speed bumps installed in not only that street, but in all of the neighborhoods in Pahokee to ensure that there's an acceptable speed that is that the people adhere to whenever they're traveling throughout the city. So I don't know how we can get this addressed. Is Barfield Highway even still being worked on? I live one street over, and I see people out there sometimes, but then for days sometimes I don't see anybody. And that doesn't mean that they're not there, but I would think that since I live one street over, I would know that if the road is being worked on. So that is the main concern that I have tonight. And I've been absent. However, the city's business should continue whether we're in attendance or not. And the other thing that I would like to know is the status of any annexation that is taking place.
Corey Wilkerson.
Good evening, everyone. Mr. Mayor, Mr. Manager, Ms. Vice Mayor, and Commissioners, and everybody in the respective places. My name is Corey Wilkerson. I live in Beverly, but Pahokee is my foundation. I got my education foundation at Pahokee Elementary from kindergarten through 4th grade. I come to you as the president of LETCO. LETCO is Leadership, Empowerment, Training, Collaboration Organization. Our focus is right now, mental health. As you know, a lot of kids in our area have mental health issues they don't know about. Also, beautification, trying to help elderly people fix up homes, paint houses, pest control homes, stuff like that. This past September, we did a 3-on-3 basketball tournament where we had 12 teams from Pahokee, Beverly, and Southbury. During the 3-on-3 basketball tournament, we gave out over $5,000 in scholarships. We didn't give them out in May like everybody do. We gave them out that day. That day. We didn't give them to the upper echelon kids who got 3.0, 3.5. We gave them to kids 2.5, 2.6, 2.7. Because I'm an element of 3.2 and 3.3. Well, I'm gonna get scholarship money. Those kids that won't get nothing, we gave them something. Looking back over the years, I did my homework. I know, in the Tri-City area, over 45% of kids do not start school before Labor Day for basic reasons. No clothes, no shoes, hair done, haircuts, stuff like that. So I come to asking the city of Pahokee to support LETCO in the 3-on-3 basketball tournament. The city of Beverly is on board, the city of South Bay is on board. I did the city road yesterday, and it kind of had extended our partnership for the next 5 years. So I would love that if I can get the city of Pahokee preferably support on board, because we're getting ready to do another Friday, and I would love the city of Pahokee to be on that Friday.
Okay. We're going to ask you to get with the city manager. Hopefully you have the city commission blessing if the city manager can find any resources to be able to assist in that project that you're having. Belglade, City of Belglade, City of South Bay, and City of Pahokee certainly want to be a part of it if we can. So we need you to have a meeting with the city manager and see if he can make some arrangement to assist your program.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor. And I'll be here when the commission and get over there talk with Mr. Lewis. Thank you so much.
Robert Love.
Robert Love, 2638 Gately East, Green Acres, Florida. Mr. Wilkerson, thanks for your help coming to Pahokee. Because like we say, look to the hill for where comes our help comes from the Lord. We need people like you to come to Pahokee because we got some trash in Pahokee right now. I come to tell you. I showed a video this morning on my live week. On August the 24th, 2021, I stood right here and I raised pure hell in here about Baird, Mervyn, and Boulder. I talked to Gonzalez, Miss Boulder, but Bowling wasn't here. I talked to Gonzalez, Miss Bowling, and the parade like they was dogs up there. Every time they opened their mouth on Facebook, I shot them down. They didn't have time to shut them down. Bear Bird and Bowling didn't have time to shut them down. That's why I was blinded. Nobody was telling me what I was doing. I was doing it, but I didn't know why they were doing what they were doing. They had ulterior motives. They never mentioned the name Chandler Williamson, and ain't gonna mention it now. And if I done knew what I know now, y'all know, Bear, Mervyn, Bowling, y'all know I wouldn't have never held a sign for y'all. Ain't no kind of way in God's world that I would have held a sign for y'all unless it was God had me doing it. But when I tell somebody that, they don't believe that. God had to have me doing that now, to be blinded with y'all sitting here like y'all doing now. And then now, back then, I can get minutes from anybody in here. Y'all give me your minutes, y'all give me your minutes. Go look at the video from this morning. Everybody was giving me minutes. Now y'all, the shoe on the other foot, bam, oh, we can't give you 3 minutes. Let me show you how smart they is. They got on there where they gonna vote where I can't get 3 minutes from somebody, which they did it last week. How y'all pass something and then y'all still voting on it? Miss Adams, since she said something about Barfield Highway, I pulled up the meeting where April 23rd, 2021, Miss Adams said Barfield Highway was gonna be done in 14 months, 30 months down the road. It ain't done. I pulled up the video where what's called said over there and say, Chandler, oh, y'all money from when y'all paid him $67,000 when he breached his contract. That same lady right there, Miss Weeks, said, oh, we don't need to sue him, cause that man right there say, we gonna get rid of all of what we gonna sue Chandler for. If y'all notice, they ain't gonna mention Chandler's name in none of these meetings. Cause Chandler is a thief. Chandler got $150,000. That's the OIG report. It's not mine. Got $150,000, and for Techno Marine, I don't know how y'all figured it out, cause I don't know how it done came out. But he got $150,000, and the president of Techno Marine said, "Well, we only did $25,000 worth of work." This commission, I don't know how y'all gonna figure it out. Where that $125,000 went? I know y'all ain't got no answers, but y'all gonna answer the channel 12 and 25. I got them coming, and we gonna do a town hall meeting in town, not up here. Y'all get that right now, cause they coming. What you said? Ain't they talking to you? I know they talking to me. Cause I got help.
Mr. Love, your time is up, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm going home, and it ain't gonna get up. It ain't gonna be up when I get home.
City Clerk, we have any additional comments, Carlos?
That's all, thank you.
Thank you. Now we'll move to our presentation, and at this time I'll have our city manager introduce our first presenter from the Florida League of Cities.
Is Aaron here? Hi, Miss Aaron. Could you please come on down and to the podium?
Good evening, Mayor, members of the Commission, staff, and citizens. As stated, my name is Erin Russell, and I am the Membership Program Specialist from the Florida League of Cities, which is located at 301 South Bruno Street in Tallahassee, Florida. And the Florida League of Cities has served as the united voice for Florida's 411 cities, towns, and villages since 1922. And our mission is to always stand up for the rights of government closest to the people, which includes governments like the city of Pahokee. So I do want to take a moment to say thank you for the active and dedicated membership at the League. It's my honor to be here this evening, and that is to recognize Mayor Keith Babb for his 30 years of service to the city of Pahokee. And I'm here this evening to present the John Land Years of Service Award, which was named after Apopka Mayor John Land, who served his city for more than 60 years. And so this award recognizes municipal elected officials like Mayor Babb for their years of service to the community. And as I said a minute ago, local government is the government closest to the people. And that means through your service as a municipal elected official, you have touched countless of lives in this community. And so we at the League want to thank you for your dedication to your community. So on behalf of the Florida League of Cities, I want to say thank you for your municipal service and congratulations on 30 years.
Want to personally thank Ms. Russell for bringing this certificate personally from the Florida League of Cities. I really appreciate this honor, and I hope that I can live up to it. Thank you so much. Okay, next we have a proclamation honoring Mr. Alvin A.J. Johnson, City Attorney.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And before I go on, just as a personal privilege, I'd like to also congratulate you on such an honor, 30 years of dedicated service where there's been no issues with you or hints of corruption of any kind is tremendous. And so thank you for your service.
Thank you.
I'd like to read now the proclamation. Whereas Alvin A.J. Johnson was born and raised in Pahokee, Florida, and is the first of 3 children. And whereas he attended school in Pahokee from elementary school to high school, and whereas in 1988, Mr. Johnson sought and obtained employment with the city of Pahokee, he spent 6 years in the Public Works Department before transitioning to the Parks and Recreation Department. And whereas his heart was always with the Public Works Department, therefore, he transitioned back to Public Works where he honed his skills and worked his way up. And whereas on June the 13th, 2006, the City Commission, via Resolution 2006-32, accepted a personal donation of the first 50 flags from Mr. Johnson in support of the Community Relations Board campaign to acquire American flags. And whereas effective July 29th, 2009, Mr. Johnson's hard work paid off and he was promoted to Director of Public Works. And whereas it is evident that Mr. Johnson is committed to the city, and this year marks 35 years since he first began his journey with the city of Pahokee, I, Keith W. Babb, Jr., Mayor of the City of Pahokee, Florida, on behalf of the City of Commission, hereby honor Mr. Alvin A.J. Johnson for 35 years of service to the City of Pahokee and encourage the residents to show their appreciation. An official recognition whereof I unto set my hand and sealed and caused the seal of the City of Pahokee to be affixed this 24th day of October. Mayor Keith W. Babb Jr., Vice Mayor Clara Mervin, Commissioner Juan Gonzalez, Commissioner Derek Bolden, Commissioner Sarah Perez.
Thank you, City Attorney. At this time, I'll entertain a motion and a second for the proclamation.
Mayor Babb, I move to accept this proclamation honoring Mr. Alvin A.J. Johnson for 35 years of service. Second.
It has been moved by Commissioner Bolden and properly seconded by Commissioner Gonzalez for the acceptance of the proclamation for 35 years for Mr. Johnson. Call for question. Hearing none. Ready for a vote. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Bolden?
Yes.
Commissioner Gonzalez?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Mervin?
Yes.
Commissioner Perez? Commissioner Perez?
We may have
Yes.
Personal donation.
Mayor Babb?
Yes. Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you, Mr. Johnson, for 35 years. Motion passed by unanimous vote. Now at this time, would you all join me down to present this proclamation to Mr. Johnson? Alvin Johnson, as Mayor of the great city of Pahokee, and on behalf of the Pahokee City Commission, Commissioner Bolden, Commissioner Vice Mayor Mervin, Commissioner Gonzalez, Commissioner Perez, along with our city manager and our entire city staff. It gives me great honor and privilege to present you with this proclamation for 35 years of service to the city of Pahokee. And we appreciate your dedication, we appreciate your leadership in this community, we appreciate your leadership at the city as a whole. I know what it is to work for 35 plus years. It takes something to do it, you know, and we don't always commend you and recognize you, but on this day, we want to do that and want you to know how very proud we are of you. I remember working for the county for 39 years. I got a handshake from all the county commissioners. But in addition to a handshake from the city commission, you're gonna go home with a nice token. We only ask one thing, that you spend some of this money within the city of Pahokee and make this money circle around. And I ask each of our commissioners if they want to say a few words on your behalf. They can. We'll start Commissioner Bowden.
Oh man, when we started, I was 7 years old. Watching you ride around on your bike. Always been a great guy, somebody to look up to. And thank you for being, you know, a model for me and a young man like myself. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, AJ, you know, I called you numerous of times, but I tell you, I want to say thank you because you never said no. When I asked you to come look at this or come look at that, you always came, Irvin, I'll take care of it, and you did that. And so I want to say thank you for your service to the city of Pahokee.
You know, I'm since '88. You just go by fast. Who were you? Drum major? Flag boy. Anybody know AJ back in '88 when he used to be a flag boy? You know. This man used to get down. He used to get down. But they got you. Did you? Congratulations.
Model, appreciate you. Let's get a picture and then your proclamation. Johnson, if you'd like to say a few words, you go to the nice.
Let's pray on first.
Thanks, everybody. It's been a pleasure serving with the city. I don't have that much more longer to go, but for a few more months I'm here, it's going to be another pleasure. Thank you.
And again, Mr. Johnson, congratulations. It's almost like going into the Hall of Fame. You got a 30-year veteran and a 35 years. That's wonderful. Thank you. Next, we have October business of the month. We'll have our city attorney read that.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, business of the month. This is a certificate and it's being awarded to Request Barbershop. It is located at 385 Bacon Point Road. And it is here, of course, in the city of Pahokee, and this is in recognition of outstanding service to the community. It is presented this 24th day of October by Mayor Keith W. Babb Jr., Vice Mayor Claire Mervin, Commissioner Bolden, Derek Bolden, Commissioner Juan Gonzalez, Commissioner Sarah Perez, and City Manager Rodney D. Lucas.
Thank you. Do we have the business of, if you would, you can come and join us in the city commission, if you would. Calm down. Rodriguez. Mr. Rodriguez, on behalf of the Pahokee City Commission, as Mayor of the City of Pahokee, Commissioner Derek Bolden, Vice Mayor Claire Mervin, Commissioner Juan Gonzalez, along with our other commissioner, Sarah Perez, who's on the phone, along with our city manager, gives me great pleasure to present this certificate of business of the month in the city of Pahokee. And you do a wonderful job. You have a wonderful business. We appreciate the service you provide this city. We wish you a lot of prosperity as you move forward. Okay. And I think Commissioner Perez is the one that selected the business of the month. I'm not sure. That was you? Okay. At this time, we'll let our commissioner, their own, Derek Bolden, actually present the certificate to you.
Right, so on behalf of the Pahokee City Commission, I'd like to present business of the month. When my turn to decide or choose, I thought about you because I know what you do. It's more than a barbershop, y'all. There are a lot of things that this man does, and nobody knows. Like, not many know. There have been times where 20 men have been in his barbershop and discussed how we can be better fathers or role models to our children. A lot of people don't know that we've had those types of discussions in Rita's barbershop. I also want to thank you for your sacrifices, because not only did you do what you did to take care of you and your family, you also did what every business owner should do: provide opportunities for other people to take care of their families. And this is what this man has done. So without further ado, I want to present this to you on behalf of the City Commission. Thank you so much.
Rodriguez, if you would like to say a few words, let us know where you're located and just anything you'd like to say.
My name is Miguel Rodriguez. We're located at 399 Bacon Point Road, right next to the post office. And I'm honored to receive this. I did not expect this at all. Whenever you have your haircut or talk about different stuff we do in the community, I'm there most of the time, and I really appreciate it. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Mr. Lucas, if you would introduce the next.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to introduce Mr. Levy and Dr. Winston, coming from, how you pronounce the company? Is it? AECON. They're going to give us a presentation on what they would like to do here with the city of Pahokee.
Hello, everybody. Thank you, City Manager, Mayor, everybody here. My name is Dan Levy. I am the National Director and Founder of AECOM's Algae Practice. With me here today is Dr. Byron Winston. Byron is part of my team. We travel the country and develop ability for us to clean up water. One of the things, and I think everybody here in this town and the city knows, is harmful algal blooms. What we have seen, this city is not the only problem. We're seeing it in every country. We're seeing it throughout the world, and we're looking at developing solutions. So what I wanted to do is explain to everybody what our company is doing in this space, and we would like to propose that we do a research project here at no cost to the city. This is just giving us an opportunity to bring some of the most advanced technology that we have available in our country to the city and look at the Marina. And I have spent my career pretty much in Florida doing just that, looking at Lake Okeechobee, looking at solutions. So if we can go to the next slide. Don't want to spend a lot of time, but I just wanted to make sure everybody understood what I have on the agenda. I'm going to be talking a little bit about the company just so you can understand the size of our company and why that is an important feat. the HAB problem, which I think everybody here understands, and then the technology that we developed and what the next steps are and how the city could potentially benefit from the next steps. A little bit about us. AECom is a global company. We're a publicly traded company. We're a Fortune 500 company. We're in 40 countries. We have 50,000 people. But we're in this space, what Byron and myself and my team do is develop technology that can clean water. So as we travel around the U.S. and do this, we believe there is a need for us to come here, for us to demonstrate what the technology could do. And we're looking, after we finish our presentation, to see if the city would allow or entertain us to bring our equipment here to demonstrate how we can clean up the water and how we can do useful things with the byproducts. So the problem. Next slide, going down. The current processes that are being used throughout the world aren't working. All of us, and especially the city, knows Lake Okeechobee and how big and how dangerous that lake could be at any time. And it doesn't take much. We all know the photographs, we all know the issues, we all know the problems. So we're looking at ways to do something innovative, something that would work on a larger scale. Next slide. This is what's out there today. The technologies, a lot of people are looking for silver bullets, a lot of people are looking for a quick fix. They've tried everything, and I believe a lot of this technology has been tried here at the city. The bottom line is we have to take the food out of the water, and essentially if you guys can envision a fish tank with a few fish in it, it's healthy. We add more food to that fish tank and more food to that fish tank and keep doing that over and over again. At some point that fish tank is not going to be healthy. And that's kind of what we have today. With 8 billion people on our planet, we have Florida growing at an enormous rate, and we have a lot of water, especially from Central Florida, that flows directly into Lake Okeechobee. So we're looking at a process that would remove the actual food source, the nitrogen and the phosphorus. And you can see that picture up there. We're looking at cutting down or essentially trying to reduce the toxic algae cycle. We have to get the phosphorus out of the water. Next slide. So that led us to the development of the innovative technology. We call it algae harvesting. The patent pending name on that is hydronucleation, because we're essentially going to add air to the water, and we're going to use that to get the algae out of the water. So just to spend a minute talking about algae. Algae itself is good. We need it. The planet needs algae. It produces oxygen. It's there. Too much is a problem. And if we get our nitrogen and phosphorus balance out of whack, we get harmful algal blooms. So this is what we're looking at. I don't know if you wanted to say a couple things about this, or let me.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
So if you look at the jars seeing up there, that's out of Lake Jessup in Florida, but it would look very similar to Lake Okeechobee. You have clouded water. That water has microscopic algae in it. The jar in the middle is what comes out of our system. We essentially take the algae out of the water. We take that microscopic algae, and we were able to use compressed air in a nucleation process. So essentially this is the water that came out of the Marina. We then consolidate that and create a biomass. And if you can see those pictures over there, you get a float blanket that comes out, which is the algae. Then we can consolidate that to a biomass. But what algae has in it, those microscopic cells, 70% of that's carbon. The rest is going to be nitrogen and phosphorus. So if we can do something valuable with that byproduct, then we have a sustainable closed loop system. Next slide. So what are we doing today with it? We have products. There's industries out there that are taking algae and turning it into shoes. Byron just finished a project up in Central Florida for the EPA in Quincy, Florida, working with the University of Florida IFAS on sustainable agriculture, where we're working directly with farmers to take their runoff and put it back on their farms. And we're working with the Department of Energy and the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers on creating a sustainable biocrude. Because as I mentioned earlier, algae has an abundance of carbon. So if we can use the same processes that nature created fossil oil, which is heat and pressure, we can do that on land. And that's another process that we were looking at to look at solutions to create a closed loop. Again, we're on the research side of this. We're doing this to demonstrate, not just for this city and for our state, but for the country, and how we can start mitigating harmful algal blooms. Next picture. To give you a sense on how far we have gone, we started this project really after the 2016 harmful algal blooms that hit Florida, and then again in 2018. We've conducted 11 pilot projects in the state of Florida. We are now up into New York State, Ohio, California. We believe we can put together a better research project for the city by doing a larger scale project here at Pahokee. Next slide. This is a project that Byron and I were on last year, right outside of Cincinnati. We had the governor come out, and we were able to demonstrate in real time that we could harvest water out of a lake, dewater it, and turn it into biocrude oil in the same day. The process takes about 30 minutes. Because this was a demonstration project, it took about 4 hours. But that shows that there is potential here. So this is where the interest is. This is where I think we could lead some of this effort, and we can make the city potentially a base camp for the research on the next steps. This is a project that I mentioned earlier that Dr. Winston was involved in. This was a nursery up in Quincy, Florida. We essentially took the algae out of the water from the stormwater and used it back in as fertilizer for the nursery.
Now just added to that, in that project, we could replace 50% of commercial fertilizer with the algae fertilizer. And if you know anything about commercial fertilizer, it runs off the soil very, very quickly and back into the lake. When you use algae fertilizer, because it has carbon in there, it helps improve the soil holds more water, the soil holds more nitrogen, and the soil holds more phosphorus. So you get great crop growth and really good yield. So it's a great way to prevent nutrients from getting back into the water body by using the algae fertilizer.
And just to add a little bit more to that point, the world uses right now about 200 metric tons of fertilizer annually. The U.S., it's only 330 million people, use 10% of that fertilizer. So we use 20 million tons of fertilizer every single year in our country, and about half is run off into the soil, into the water, every single year. So go back to my fish tank experiment, we're constantly adding more and more food to our planet, to our systems, and we're ending up with harmful algal blooms. So we're trying to find a way to harvest that back out and to bring it back to reduce the commercial fertilizer demand and provide sustainability. Next slide. One more down. This kind of just gives it an explanation of how simple we want to make the process. We can essentially harvest the water, extract the algae into a slurry, put it in the back of a truck, and we can spray it on the ground. We're also looking for northern states to turn it into pellets so it can be stored in longer periods of time. Next slide. This is a project we currently have going on now. We're in the Indian River. We've put a harvester on a barge. We're working in salt water and brackish water to demonstrate how we can be a little bit more flexible in the state of Florida in removing harmful algal blooms. Next slide. This is probably one of the greatest achievements that we've done. We've worked with the Army Corps of Engineers, their research division, for 3 years on a project called Habitats, which stands for Harmful Algal Bloom Interception, treatment, and transformation. This was how we were able to take harmful algal blooms and turn them into crude oil that almost mimics fossil crude oil. That project was funded by the federal government. We received a federal award for innovation. That was a picture taken up in Cleveland earlier this year. Next slide. So next steps. The reason why I gave all this information is I want everybody here in the city to know what our plans are, why we're here today. The DEP is putting out a RFP, a request for a proposal, to demonstrate water quality improvements in Lake Okeechobee, which is needed. We need all the help we can get to combat that. This lake is enormous, 740 square miles. We want to be one of those applicants, and we want to propose that we put a demonstration project here in the city at the Marina, and do so by taking water from the lake, discharging the water into the boat area where we can then have clean water. The system that we're looking at putting forth would be about a 2 million gallon a day system. So it'll be 2 million gallons of clean, fresh water coming in. If you have vision of those jars I had up there, it looks like crystal clear water. That would allow us to do high-end research. The way the city has their boat docks and the seawall structure would allow us to have a contained area, would allow us to conduct high-end research. We'll be able to look at the sediments, we'll be able to look at the water quality, and we should be able to see a visual improvement. This is all good for the research, all good for the science, and I think everybody wins, and good for the city and good for the people. So that's our ask, that we can be partners with the city and we can put together a proposal. This is an example of what that would look like. This is a lake in California called Lake Elsinore outside of San Diego, 3,000 acres. We're going to be putting one harvester there to clean up to demonstrate about a 6-acre improvement in the lake. So this is our first step, and this is how it would look here at the city. We would essentially be discharging clean, highly oxygenated water into a confined area to create a clean zone. And that will allow us to gain a lot more research, and the city and the individuals here will be able to see a benefit. But this is what we're asking. The equipment is the size of a tractor trailer. We'll have 2 of those systems, plus support equipment to dewater and to take the biomass. But if the city is interested, we'd like to propose this to move forward, that we can work somewhere along the shoreline. So we're open to any possibility. The closer we can get to the enclosed area is better, into that seawall would be our preference. So with that, I'll open it up to questions.
It's gonna have anything to do with the fishes? You know, when the fishing, while we fishing, is it gonna change?
Actually, this is going to be more of a habitat restoration, so we would imagine that we would see a significant improvement in the water quality, which would then support a better aquatic life, more fish, etc.
Yeah, if you improve the water quality, you wouldn't just get more fish, but you also get a more diverse set of fish. So instead of it just being dominated by catfish, you'll probably get, bass and, whatever. I'm not a fish guy, but improving the quality.
Yeah, so we got all kinds of fish here, and then Lake Okeechobee is one of the best freshwater fishing lakes in the world. And that's well, we don't have that much fishing on our lake anyway. If you was in Wilson, that'd be a better question. We ain't got too much going on up there. Y'all probably can do it 10 years and nobody do it. Y'all got that. Come on.
From the commission, any questions?
Yeah, would this prevent the algae from coming? How often would you have to do this cleaning?
Well, this would be, depending on the funding that we'd be granted by the state, we would want to be out here as long as we can. This is a huge water body. The system will run on a continuous basis. Our intent is to run this as often as we can. We prefer 24/7. 365 operations. And I think for us in the state of Florida, as we look around our lakes, we have well over 100 lakes that have an impact with harmful algal blooms. Obviously, Lake Okeechobee is the heart of Florida. So it's not just going to be this project. It's going to be this project with a lot of other projects that have to make a dent. But I think this would be the first big step into what could be done in our state to mitigate or at least have some tools available to combat harmful algal blooms. My analysis on that would be when you look at states like California, that's essentially a fire-prone state, you need the best and most advanced equipment available to protect your residents. Florida is an algae-prone state. We need the most advanced, most available processes to protect our citizens and our way of life and our water. So this is, again, a research project, but it would be the first step in demonstrating a technology that we believe can make an impact in our water quality.
So what I'm saying, once it cleans the water the first time, algae bloom comes every June, July, August, which is the hot months. So is there a system that stays in the water not to reoccur of the algae blooms? That's what I'm saying.
And I'm glad you asked that, because a lot of times I get so caught up in my conversations, I forget the basics. This is going to be a system that sits on land. We're going to have an intake, a suction line in Lake Okeechobee. So we're going to be constantly pumping Okeechobee water into the system, but we're going to discharge the effluent, which is the clean water. And by discharging clean water on a consistent basis, we will eventually flush out the water in that area, in that confined zone, and then that will be an ongoing basis. Once we turn the system off, then the water is going to come on back and it'll look just like Lake Okeechobee. So essentially, it's going to be a donut hole. There's no doubt about that. I mean, we're talking about 740 square miles of nutrient-rich water, and we're going to be looking at a 10-acre boat basin.
Just to add to that, one of the things that our system does, it adds oxygen to the water. And a lot of what is going on in Okeechobee is that you have nutrients being released from the sediment because there's very low oxygen. By adding more oxygen into the water, we're helping to drive that down. The algae does not have as much nutrients for uptake, so we should see a decline in the amount of algae growing in that area.
But to answer the question, the system will have to run continuously. Once that system shuts down, then it would go back to where we're at today.
Okay. My question was, in terms of the biomass, you guys would already have your ways of storing and all of that.
Well, another great question. We have processes that we can work with. We're right now dealing with some of the local agricultural farmers. We believe, based on the results that we just finished with the University of Florida IFAS up in Quincy, that this has a benefit. But before we can use it as a commercial fertilizer, a lot more USDA testing is needed. So we're looking at taking about 200 acres of farmland in this general area, and that's the next meeting I'll be going to see if we can get approval to use that as our test site. If that's not available, then we could always go to a landfill with it, but that's not really what we want to do. That's kind of a waste of a resource. So we'll be looking at other processes of what we can do. And again, the vision would be that we can make this a sustainable system, that we can convince our state that this is needed on an ongoing basis until we can really cut down the nutrient loads going to Lake Okeechobee. So hot spots along the way.
And there are several options to deal with the biomass. We're working with vendors who are creating ink, black ink for printers and toners and stuff with the biomass. Like Dan mentioned earlier, we're creating biocrude. We're also working with, we also talked to some folks and we're potentially turning that algae into little pellets, dewater it into pellets, for to be able to use that as fertilizer. So we're exploring options.
Okay. Another question. Will this be a standalone system, or will you be will your research require that other individuals kind of be out there, maybe, I don't know?
Yeah, now this will be a staffed project.
Okay.
And again, we'll have 2 harvesters is what we will be putting forward as our recommended approach. They'll be about 50 feet long, 10 feet high, and 10 feet wide. We can place them along the bank. We can put them in the parking lot. We have a lot of flexibility of what we can do with the harvesters. What I do know is that every time we have done a research project with these harvesters, we get a lot of interest. We also think that this would draw a lot of good science work to the city. And we want to be able to create platforms for the residents to come up and see what we're doing. This is high-end, high-tech innovation that is now going to market. And I think this would be a great launch point for the next step. A lot of our projects have been several weeks. We want to do this as several years.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor?
So you just answered my question, which was gonna be, will that bring any jobs to our community? Because we certainly wanna make sure that we do more than just see a process taking place in our community. We wanna make sure that several of our interested citizens are able to take advantage of any work.
Absolutely.
That is provided through that process.
Byron and I are limited in our capabilities on doing everything. So yes, the intent is that if we can demonstrate that this process is creating a benefit, then we would want to expand that. And we want it staffed locally, as that makes more sense. So as we look here in this part of Lake Okeechobee, then we would staff with individuals here. We go on the west side, we would have them over there. We're also looking at the entry points into the lake and also the exit points at both of the major locks. So these are some of the plans that we have going forward, but I think because of the seawall structure that is here, it provides us an ideal spot to conduct research.
Just quickly, so before I started working at ACOM, I worked at the University of Arkansas as a STEM recruiter for minority students. And every project that we have done, we have always incorporated an outreach project. So I know the high schools here and the students here, we will definitely try to get students who are interested in science, even if they're not interested in science, but to come out, see the system, and learn about STEM as part of our outreach. We always include an outreach component in our project. Very motivated, I've always done STEM recruiting everywhere I've gone.
Well, so my fifth grade science students could possibly be able to
Absolutely.
use that as a field trip.
We were just up in Minnesota with a bunch of high school students doing the exact same thing. We see this as a crisis for our country. Again, as I mentioned, it's not just Florida. Every state in our country has harmful algal blooms. We don't know why in the last decade they became harmful, but that's what we're dealing with. And these things are becoming more toxic. They're lasting longer because of climate change. And we have to address this. We have to. And we definitely think there's a future in doing this, because if we don't, the consequences are we're not going to have water, period. And that's what we want to do. We need ambassadors. We need high school students to get interest in this science.
Because there's a workforce problem, right? I mean, if you look, there are not a lot of students going to STEM. There are programs, a bunch of programs are out there for STEM, but there's a workforce problem. So by starting to get them in early, we're starting to push them in that pipeline to help start solving these climate change problems, these algae problems that we're having all over the country.
Y'all only just deal with algae?
Well, it's actually nutrients, but we're using algae to do the heavy lift for us. Because what algae does is it'll grow rapidly, so much faster than a tree. I mean, they essentially will multiply extremely well. So if we can let the algae do the work for us, then we can take the algae out of the water because again, it's about taking the nutrients. We can reduce the food source just enough. We can let nature really do its job, but right now, nature cannot do this. The ecosystem is overwhelmed with the amount of nutrients coming in, and we're starting to see it. As I mentioned earlier, we don't know why the last decade, harmful algal blooms have become so bad, but they are. And there's a lot of theories on the ratio between nitrogen and phosphorus, et cetera, et cetera. The bottom line is the harmful algal blooms, it's an invasive species for all practical purposes. That's some way of looking at it. We have to eradicate that. We have to. And this research is cutting edge, but it's beginning. We have a lot more work to get done, so yes.
Yeah, the reason why I asked is because our drinking water here is very toxic. It's literally yellow coming out of the faucets. That's why I asked that.
Where does the water come from, the lake, or does it come from the well?
It comes from the lake.
It's coming from the lake. It's yellow. It's like a deep yellow. It's harmful. It's people call me cancer. Cancer, everything back in this water. That's why I advise people not to drink. You have to buy the water. It's literally yellow.
Yeah, I don't have that information, but these are things that all tie in together. At the end of the day, everything ties in together.
That's why I asked you what this one we have.
Mr. Mayor?
Commissioner Bowden.
One more question. Earlier you talked about the biomass again, back on that, and the different products that can come out of it. As part of your model, should it be, a successful model, are there future plans to do revenue sharing with municipalities that you partner with?
Unfortunately, the cost of harvesting the algae is not there yet. I mean, it's expensive. And that's why we've been working on grant funding from both state and federal governments to develop the process. The future, yes, if we could start developing a commercialized system and get the automation down, then that's great. We're not there yet.
Yep.
The cost outweigh the benefit of the product.
Yep.
That, okay, my question. That was part of my question because of the fact I'm saying, y'all ain't asking them to do nothing. Y'all gonna get the grant money, y'all gonna come set in, all y'all need is for them to say, do it.
Correct.
They don't need to give y'all no funding, they don't need to do anything.
Correct, but for any project to be a success, we need partners.
Yes.
Because we want to be this as a team.
All you
Right,
want
right.
to do is just say y'all partner with us.
Yeah.
Because of the fact when it comes to getting some grant money, you're gonna have to use them as probably somebody to say, well, we partner with Pahokee.
Absolutely, correct. We want to show a team that can work jointly together, that we have been here, everybody knows what we're going to be doing, and everybody can benefit from the exercise. Correct.
Like saying,
Mr. Mayor.
y'all trying to get something started here, like down the road, we might not get nothing this year in the next 5 years, but Pahokee will go to benefit it from it.
One would hope. Our plan is if we can hit this the way we want to, then we would have a success at a very large level, meaning that right now there is nothing out there. We're just people are suffering, and they're using copper sulfates, they're using anything possible to kill it, but that's adding more poison to the water. So we're trying to come up with something that would have benefit, and if this is ground zero at that, then yeah, that puts you on the map.
So like you're saying, it's not 100%,
Okay.
but it's 90%.
I think
We're gonna go.
we're at 95.
City Attorney.
Yes, I have a couple of questions for you. In the event the commission moves in the direction of approving something, I just wanted to get a few questions answered that include, like, how are you all doing the permitting in other states? Like, for instance, are you working with the state Department of Environmental Protection agencies? Do these require any permits with any federal agencies? I know that you mentioned a little while ago that you had some dealings with the Army Corps of Engineers. I'm wondering, what what has that interaction looked like? We also have the South Florida Water Management District, which we have to be very cognizant of here. You can't just go and, do things in waterways. So if you can give, some information about permitting and how you've managed to put your equipment in navigable, spaces. And then the other question that I would have is, what do those agreements look like that you have with local municipalities? Do you have examples of those agreements, and would you be willing to share those? So if you could speak to those things.
If I forget any of them, I have three. The first one on the permitting side, it's extensive. We go through a very rigorous process of water quality sampling. Everything that we do is documented with laboratory data. It will take permitting. We don't have a blanket permit, but we've gotten permits at every site that we've worked on. We do extensive testing on the effluent to make sure that anything we put back would be a benefit. Those are called a toxicity test. And Byron, that in a little bit further on the wet testing and all that?
Yeah, so we collect samples before it goes into the harvester, we collect samples after it goes on the harvester, and we do the toxicity testing. And the water that we're putting back into the lakes are a lot better than the water that's coming out of the lake. So we're adding a net benefit of water quality improvement to the system, in every system.
So in the state of Florida, we have conducted 13 pilot projects and gotten permits on all 13 sites. So we're very confident that we'll get
Where have these permits come from?
DEP has been a permitting agency. The Corps has been a permitting agency. Fish and Wildlife has been notified, but they have not issued permits. The water management districts. We do work right now for 2 of the water management districts that have retained us to do algae harvesting. That was in Northwest Florida Water Management and the St. Johns River Water Management District. And sorry, I forgot your third question.
No, I think you've covered it. Really, it had to do mostly with permitting, and then the other question was agreements. What do those agreements look like, and are you in a position to share any potential agreements? I mean, if you were coming here, obviously those are the kind of things that legal would be reviewing, and I don't want to start from scratch.
No, absolutely. Yeah. And we do a lot of work for state agencies. All that is publicly available information. We'll be happy to share as much of the information as you would like. The work we're doing today in Brevard County, it's a Brevard County agreement.
Is that the Indian River project? Okay.
Correct. So we can share that. We can share past agreements with Northwest Florida. That's still going. We can use that. Actually, that's an EPA grant. So another agency that we work with is the U.S. EPA. They funded the research on the Farmer to Farmer program. So we can share that agreement. There is a list, and we'd be happy to share that. It's all publicly available.
Right. And do any of these agreements, one last question, Mr. Mayor, do any of these agreements include participation with local farmers? I know that you mentioned that some of the product that you could create could be used for fertilizer, and do you work in any of these areas with the local farmers?
Actually, for the EPA project, that was an EPA grant that we worked with the Northwest Florida Water Management District and the Maine Nursery. The Maine Nursery is a private farm, 7th-generation farmers up in Quincy, Florida, northern part of the state. And we can provide a letter of recommendation. They have been working with us very closely for over 1.5 years now on this project. They're very pleased with the harvesting operations, and we have submitted for a phase 2 grant to extend that project even further. So that's an example of a federal agency and a private farmer in the state that we can provide.
Thank you.
I have a question. How long has your company been doing this?
Well, the company the company itself does $13 billion a year in infrastructure. So we're one of the largest infrastructure companies in the country. We're actually in 40 countries, but I started the algae program in 2016. as a research think tank within the company. Again, we're a publicly traded for-profit company, but the work that I do and my team has been on developing innovative technologies that can clean water and provide a benefit to our planet, and that's what I spend my time on.
I've been working in the water quality allergy field for probably about 20 years. I know I look like I'm 20, but I've been working in that field for about 20 years. I've got a master's degree in molecular biology. I've got a PhD in environmental dynamics, water quality, and I did a postdoc working on the impacts of climate change in water systems like Lake Okeechobee and how it impacts drinking water. So I've got and the rest of the folks on our team have at least 10, 15, 20 years of experience working in that arena.
And just to add to that, I'm a professional geologist in the state of Florida. I co-patent on the set cut dredge process that was piloted here in 2002 in Lake Okeechobee as part of a South Florida Water Management District project. I have spent 35 years really in the state of Florida, predominantly in the state of Florida, looking at water quality issues.
Are you collaborating with anybody or just doing it on your own?
No, we have collaborative partners. One of them is the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers Burdick Division, which is the Engineering Research Development Center in Vicksburg. We collaborate with 3 of the DOE labs. We collaborate with all of our partners, be it our clients, because again, this is research that's going to improve the water quality. We do have some partners that we collaborate with as well that are actual partners. One is Jenny Fuel. They own the patented process called hydrothermal liquefaction. That's the heat and pressure that's used to transform carbon bits into crude oil. And the list goes on. And we have a lot of laboratories and other vendors. But
and we work with a lot of universities as well. We work with
That was gonna be my question.
we also work with Jordan,
FAU Harbor Branch.
Harbor Branch.
We've done work at FIU, Minnesota, Stony Brook University, and we're working with UC Davis in California and others.
And lastly, do you have any examples of lakes around our area that we can see the difference?
No, we don't, because at this point we've been doing research. We'll be starting the first full-scale commercial project in Long Island and Southampton later this year. That project was started, the initial test was done before COVID to get an idea how long the permitting process, the approval process, and just getting funding. That received both state and federal funding. So this will be the first project in our country that will have a full-scale algae harvesting system as a restoration. Prior to that, everything has been research.
Other than the algae, what else are you guys going to try to do with the marina, with the water?
Well, the main focus...
Basically to help the environment.
Well, if you can let me walk through the process. You saw that jar or the water we have. It's visibly different in color. That has algae in it, and what we do in our process is we consolidate that algae so it turns into larger particles for all practical purposes. So then we can separate that from the water. So we do a liquid solid separation process, and in doing so, we use compressed air. So essentially, the discharge that comes out of that is highly oxygenated water, which is very clean. That provides the benefit to the ecosystem. Benefit 1, take the nutrients out. Benefit 2, we're restoring and putting back clean, highly oxygenated water. And as Byron indicated, that highly oxygenated water, one of the research things we want to do here and why we like the containment is we want to show, or at least document, if the highly oxygenated water will reduce the amount of sediment flux. That means when the oxygen levels are low, nutrients are released from the sediment. If we keep the oxygen level high, then the nutrients stay in the sediment. And if we can do that, then we can minimize the amount of dredging that needs to take place, et cetera. Again, this is not just for this city, but this is for the entire state.
Right. And how many stations you plan on bringing?
Big word?
How many stations?
How many harvesters?
Yeah.
Two.
Two of them, and what's the noise decibels on that?
The noise level on those would be equivalent to like a pool pump.
Okay.
Yeah, we would be doing a hard electric line connection. We will have staff looking around, collecting samples, monitoring the situation. But I think the long-term plan, and one of the projects we'll be starting off later this year, is our iPass system, which is essentially an automation process system that allows us to run the harvesters from our phone, and eventually reduce the number of staff that are going to be on site. But any kind of research project, we're going to have a lot of staff because we want to collect the data, we want to document this, we want to bring universities here, we want to bring students, et cetera, to get the information out. There's a lot of information, a lot of it's high-tech information, and it's not something we can just say in a sound bite. So I think having people here experiencing it, touching it, seeing it, will have that education so we can be understood. And that's one of our biggest problems is trying to get a lot of this information in short sound bites because it's just too much. So I think having a system here for maybe several years would allow not only the understanding, but a benefit that could be scaled and hopefully used throughout our state.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, appreciate the presentation and I
Thank
guess-
you. And thank you, Mr. Lucas, for letting me come here.
I appreciate both of you coming out, and I wanted to just get a quick understanding, basically what time period were you looking to have a memorandum of understanding for? Is it a 1 year, 2 year?
We would prefer as long as possible. If we can have a memorandum of understanding that we can get by with 1 year, that would be great. We do believe that the RFP will allow up to 3 years. We haven't seen it yet, it has not been issued, but if we can get the extension, we have a base year, and if the city feels there's a benefit to it, then we can extend it for 2 more optional years, would be my recommendation.
And would you need access to any land or property?
Yes, we would need approximately about a half acre of land that could be shaped, maybe as wide as 40 feet and extended out. So we can make it a long site versus a box.
I have a question. Through the mayor. You mentioned that the work or how long you would stay would be dependent upon the RFP from the state.
Correct.
And so is this all contingent upon the RFP from the state, everything that you're talking about now?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Lucas, are we good?
Mayor? We're good.
Thank you. I appreciate your
Thank you
time.
both.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Okay, we have consistently requested updates on Barfield Highway, and I'm gonna have Mr. Lucas bring up the guests who are gonna be giving us an update.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, I'd like to introduce you to Tom, our new project manager for Barfield Highway here in Pahokee.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Tom Pastor. I'm the project manager for Rosso Site Development, prime contractor for the Barfield Highway project. Give you an update and a look at what we've got coming up in the near future. The majority of the underground work is completed. Right now, we're in between 4th and 3rd Street, wrapping up the underground storm drain.
Can you speak up? She can't hear you.
Storm drain and sewer work as well. We've started the concrete curb and gutter and sidewalk within those same limits, 4th to 3rd, and installing the base rock for the roadway construction. Our other main focus area right now is in between 1st and Main. The underground work is complete in those areas. The curb and sidewalk is currently being installed, and the base rock for the roadway is also being installed in those areas. Our goal is to continue. Right now, we're kind of in an area where things are rolling relatively smooth. We've got one more hurdle to get through, and that being right at Barack Obama Highway and Barfield. One more conflict to overcome, but we're confident that once that's resolved, we intend to finish the project as quickly as possible.
What's the time frame now? Has the estimated time of completion changed, or is it still?
The estimated time of completion, I don't know what you previously understood, but it is right now March of 2024.
Yes, Commissioner Perez.
We couldn't hear you. Can you get closer? What's wrong?
I said I'd like to ask a question.
Go ahead.
Okay, he says that they were having some conflict. He said something about Obama. It's really hard to hear, but what conflicts are they having?
There's an underground conflict currently with AT&T. There's a proposal on the table, hopefully being reviewed, to do a little bit of redesign of the underground drainage. And then there is some coordination that will have to be done with Palm Beach County Water Utilities to just do a quick bypass in order to complete the storm drainage in that area of Barack Obama and Barfield.
So is that equivalent to more time and more money?
She was asking, does that mean extended of time and more money?
We're hoping not to extend any more time. As far as the money is concerned, it all depends on the engineer's approval on the conflict resolution with AT&T. That's not something currently within our control. We'd like to move forward and get that conflict resolved, but at this point, it's up to the engineer.
Who is the engineer?
AE Engineering.
So AE Engineering is the one that we're waiting on the approval or working out whatever issue it is?
Yes and no. So AT&T has the what's it called? Just the workstation down in the hole?
Yeah, they actually have fiber optic cables within the limits of the proposed drainage. And what we're trying to do is reroute that drainage utilizing some of the existing storm drain that's already in place to eliminate that conflict with AT&T.
So they had a cable under our water drains?
Do they have you say cable on their water?
Yeah, the AT&T, are there cables in the water drain?
Within the limits of the proposed storm drain, yes, ma'am.
Okay, so is it their responsibility or is it our responsibility? And was that not on the original drawings, the original engineering and design? Hello?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm not sure I understood the question.
You're not sure if you understood?
Yeah, can you repeat that? I've had a hard time hearing you and understanding your question.
Okay, is that our responsibility? Is that AT&T? And was this not in the original site plan, engineering, drawings, design? It wasn't in the original one.
No,
It's just things that we just encountered.
No, the existing AT&T line was not shown in the plans, so it wasn't known to be a conflict until the ground was opened up and prepared to install the storm drain. As far as responsibility goes, I really can't answer that question. I mean, is AT&T in the road right-of-way by permit, therefore obligated to move upon demand? I don't know the answer to that question, but here again, we're hoping to take them out of the equation by rerouting the storm drain.
Okay, so by when do you expect a response, an answer, an agreement?
Well, the one thing I can tell you is AT&T is relatively unresponsive. Unfortunately, this isn't the first time in a construction project that there's been issues with utility owners. AT&T, unfortunately, is one of the more difficult ones. There's been a lot of discussions in hopes of coordinating a resolution. Promised meetings aren't kept. Things to that nature. So to answer your question, I don't know. All I know is if this issue, which we foresee as one of the final hurdles of the multiple conflicts that have been on this job, we can get over this hurdle and move on to completion. With staff's help, we'd like to get the redesign proposal approved as quickly as possible.
Have there been any recent work stoppage? I know some residents have been questioning the expediency of the
right within that intersection. Unfortunately, that intersection has been disturbed for a long period of time now, pending resolution of this issue. Now we've since been able to work in other areas, that being from First to Main. And then the other area that's most recently opened up from other conflicts that were experienced is 4th to 3rd. And you see a lot of activity going on in those two areas. The underground work is moving, the concrete work is moving, the roadway base is currently moving. And we just want to keep it going. We don't want any more interruptions because, the underground guy has had to come in and pull out because of conflicts. Come back in and then pull out. We'd like this to be the last time that he comes in. Keep him here, get everything completed, and once all the underground is done, then it's just a race to the finish on finishing the road surface.
From your experience, many other conflicts that you guys are encountering, is that pretty much commonplace when it comes down to doing a job of this magnitude?
Unfortunately, it is. I gotta say, and I haven't been involved in this project for a long period of time, but I've been in construction for a very long time. The sanitary sewer was installed almost completely, and then it was redesigned, I guess, by Palm Beach County at some point, and all that work was basically removed and started over again. The design engineer indicated that the existing storm drain that handles the rainwater and such be removed as part of the construction. It was recognized by Rosso early on that couldn't happen, or the homes and the roads would go underwater. So there was a lot of drainage redesign. So those are two of the big factors that pushed this period of time out so far beyond where it was supposed to be. Now the AT&T and the Comcast and the FPL, those are much more common. But to have the sanitary sewer and the storm drain almost completely redesigned throughout the entire corridor, it's unfortunate for everyone.
Yeah, thank you.
you're feeling the pain, the residents are feeling the pain. The contractor, bids this type of job to get in and get out in 14 months, not, well, several years. So, everyone is just anxious to get over this last hurdle and get the job complete.
Thank you, sir.
There has been a lot of delays on that road.
Any additional questions so we can move? Okay. You live next.
Excuse me.
Yes.
I live on 498 East 3rd Street, and I know we've got rain in the past. But I know you're not gonna wet where they're digging and everything, but the road itself is powdery and dust is everywhere. I can actually go out to my vehicle and take dirt off it like I'm picking it up off the ground. And is there any kind of way you can get your water trucks to?
Yes. And we just responded to a similar complaint earlier in the week, and I apologize if it was yours or not, I don't know. But we do have a water truck on site now. It helps in the process of finishing the road rock. There's a certain moisture content that you need to achieve within that aggregate to compact it to its optimum percentage. So we will be doing a lot more watering. Now, over the past few months, we didn't want to do water at all because there was so much rain, and the ground was saturated, and it just made a sloppy mess out there.
Past 3 months, I can wash my car today. I don't even wash my house down now because it doesn't do me any good.
Right.
I'm getting it from both angles. I'm getting it as they're going south, and as they turn up 3rd Street, I'm getting it. And I just want to know if it's, just keep it wet.
Right. And, unfortunately, the more impact and pounding that surface takes, it just deteriorates and it creates more fines as opposed to the rocks that it normally comes in as. I mean, when that area is exposed for as long as it's been exposed, it's difficult to maintain. I mean, you're out there, trying to get the work done, as expeditiously and efficiently as possible. And we understand that it's important to keep, erosion and dust and that all controlled. But we'll certainly do everything we can to keep it wet and get done as fast as possible.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Okay. Now we're going to move to our consent agenda for approval. We have 2 items on here, the October 10th, 2023 City Commission meeting minutes and a resolution 2023-65. I entertain a motion for the adoption of the consent agenda items.
Mayor Bev, I move to accept the consent agenda as stated. October 10th, 2020 Commission meeting minutes and the resolution 2023-65.
I'll second.
Okay, it has been moved by Commissioner Bolden and properly seconded by Vice Mayor Mervin for the adoption of the consent agenda items, which consists of the October 10th, 2023 City Commission minutes and the resolution 2023-65. Call for questions.
I do.
Commissioner.
This is at the last meeting, correct? I voted yes for the penny raise, but on the other resolution that was added, Ms. Brunville took the position. That's the day, right, Mervin?
I hear you.
Is that the day we're referring to? When Mayor Baz wasn't here, you were here?
October 10th?
Yes.
Yeah. Was that last? I can't remember. I guess that was last week. Yeah.
Yeah, the day.
Okay, I just want to.
Today's 20th. Yeah.
What was that?
Yes, what was the resolution?
It's the one that had the penny raise and the other one where it had the 2 minute for the commissioners.
No, the resolution here on the consent agenda item is a homecoming parade.
No, that's this one right here. I'm talking about.
Now, like,
he told it 2 weeks ago.
Commissioner of Parades was asking what's the resolution.
Oh, okay.
So she may be getting it completely.
Yes, what's the resolution number?
2023-65. It's for approving the Pahokee Middle Senior High School's application for a parade.
Okay. Okay.
It's under consent along with the minutes.
Is that the only one?
It's two items.
What's the other item?
The minutes for October 10th, and then the resolution.
You,
I haven't
what's
asked
your question now?
My question was,
I want to pull it out. I want to vote them separately.
am I gonna talk or she gonna talk?
Commissioner Perez, Commissioner Gonzalez has the floor right now. I know it's difficult to know, but he has the floor.
Commissioner Gonzalez has the floor right now.
Okay.
Okay, on the October 10, 2023 City Commission meeting minutes, I just want to rescind my vote when I voted on the consent agendas for the 1 penny raise, and then the other one was for the 2 minutes, commissioners' minutes to speak. I want to rescind it from a yes to a no, and I want that written down in the minutes, documented in the minutes.
No, at that particular meeting, that's how your vote was recorded. So you can make a statement at some point saying that you don't agree with that and you would like to have.
No, I'm talking about recorded in this minutes, to be recorded at this minutes.
City attorney, did you, he want to change his
No, you
vote
can't
from the
change
last
your vote.
commission meeting.
Okay, but I want this, what I'm saying, documented in the minutes.
You can't change your vote. The only thing you can do is if you thought it was recorded wrong, if you said, no, I'm sure I said yes, and it was no, or vice versa, then you could do something about that after the clerk checked it. But under these circumstances, all you're doing now is just saying you disagree with how you voted, but you can't change it at this point.
Okay, but for the record, I'm saying, I want this recorded for the next minutes, that I stated this.
I don't know what you would be doing. I don't know what that would fall under, because this is just about the minutes. It's a discussion about the minutes, and if the minutes were accurate, there's nothing else that you can do on this item. That's it.
Okay, because I don't agree with that.
It's not a vote, it's not anything else, so that's it. That's all you can
Just
do.
be recorded on the minutes, that's why I'm stating it. Nod your head if you want.
This doesn't make any sense.
Don't make sense.
Okay, Commissioner Perez,
Yes.
you made a motion to have something removed from the consent agenda?
There's already a motion on the floor.
No, she wants to break out if she could, she wanted to separate the October 10th minutes from the consent agenda and the resolution 2023-65.
There's a motion on the floor.
Okay, what was the resolution?
For the parade,
Okay.
Oh,
And the consent agenda?
The minutes.
the minutes.
The minute. Okay. Well, here's what I got to say. Okay.
Commissioner Perez,
I know. Hang on a second. I know that ultimately is our responsibility.
I'm gonna have to
educate
stop. Look,
ourselves.
Commissioner Perez, we have a motion and a second on the floor. We have a motion and a second.
Okay, and don't you have a questioning? Don't you ask for
Yeah,
questions?
you're making a statement now, so what is your question?
My question is, you know, it would help if whenever you guys first started this, putting two things and voting on them as a cluster, because me, for one, I didn't know that, you know, what the heck it was. The first time, you guys totally surprised me. The second time, I figured it out, and I voted no on the consent agenda. So I know that I could separate them and vote for each one separately, and that is what I wish to do tonight, each one separately.
Okay. You'd have to get a motion and a second to have that done at this point. Right now, we have a consent agenda consisting of 2 items on here tonight. You either can request it be pulled to be discussed, or we vote on it being accepted and move on with the vote.
I want to separate them. I have to make a motion. I make a
Okay,
motion.
your motion is on the floor. Is there a second to that?
I'll second it. Is that for always or just for this one?
I'm gonna go back to parliamentary procedure. We have a motion currently on the floor. She's now on the question and wanted to have it separated. She want to vote on these individual, maybe as a consent, but consent for just each individual item.
So what she's
Yeah, 'cause
wanting
you
to
know,
do
you
is
might not want to vote the same for all
Okay,
of them.
we're trying to get there. Let the
Okay, but
give
that
us.
is not right. It's not right to do that. Because I might want to say yes on one and no on the others. Why you cluster them together? And didn't even explain it. You know that we were new. Why didn't explain it? Does Derek know?
Yes, he does.
I'm not sure what she's talking about, but basically right now, what you all have is you have a motion on the floor. You can have a substitute, what she's asking for essentially, without saying, is a substitute motion to consider separating the consent agenda. You could vote on that first and then go back to the main motion. So she's asking basically to substitute the motion that's on the floor with the motion for.
Right, basically just asking for it to be amended.
Right,
Right.
exactly.
But, okay. Commissioner Gonzalez second that. We'll go through that. We have a motion and a second to separate the consent agenda items, break them up into individual items. It's been motioned by Commissioner Perez and properly second by Commissioner Gonzalez. Call for questions. Hearing none, are you ready for a vote? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Perez,
Yes.
Commissioner Gonzalez,
Yes.
Commissioner Bolden,
No.
Commissioner, I'm sorry, Vice Mayor Murphy,
No.
Mayor Bath.
No. Motion failed by 3-2 majority. Okay. So we now have a motion on the floor to accept the consent agenda items, which consists of 2 items. We went through our questioning. Are there any additional questions? Hearing none. Are you ready for a vote? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Perez, Commissioner Perez,
Yes.
Commissioner Gonzalez,
Yes.
Wait, what are we voting on?
We're now voting on the consent agenda item, which is the 2 items. One is the commissioner minutes, and the other one is a resolution for the parade, permit for the parade.
Okay, I vote yes on the resolution and no on the consent agenda.
Can't do that.
We didn't separate the 2 items. You either vote on the consent agenda or you don't vote on the consent agenda. They're not separated at this point. That motion failed.
Is this even constitutional, legal? I mean, can you do that? Can you just, put them all together?
Yes, ma'am, we have an attorney that,
Why is it that it's the same 3 of you that are voting for it?
well, basically, a consent agenda item is items that don't really call for a whole lot of discussion. That's why they only consent, just to move the agenda along.
But the consent agenda items, you put multiple things on there. And like I said, I might want to vote yes on one and no on the other.
Commissioner Perez.
So what you're trying to do is make a person make a choice either way, and that's not right.
All your consent agenda items, not only in Pahokee, everywhere, they're in a one cluster.
Yeah, and you could also ask to
To move an
divide
item,
them,
you
to take them
can.
out.
You can.
But of course, it's not gonna happen in our city because the three of you are always voting for the same crap.
Okay.
Keep going, keep it up.
Okay, what's your vote on the consent agenda item, yea or nay?
No,
Okay.
I'm not.
City Clerk, you can continue with the roll call.
Go back to Commissioner Gonzalez.
Yes.
Yes. Commissioner Bolden?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Mervin?
Yes.
Mayor Bab?
Yes. Thank you, City Clerk. Thank you, Commissioner. Motion passed by a majority of 4-1 vote. Now we'll move to old business, discussion of existing activity of a previous held events, if any. City Manager.
All right. So in my city manager report, can I talk about the projects there?
Yeah, we can do it
Okay.
in your report. Okay.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Now we'll move to public hearings and or ordinance. We have ordinance 2023-07, City Attorney. And this is the second reading.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, an ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Pahokee, Florida, amending Chapter 2, Article 2, Section 2-26F1 of the City of Pahokee's Code of Ordinances entitled City Commission Discussion to limit debate to 2 minutes with an opportunity for 1 minute rebuttal, amending Article 2, Section 2-26G1 entitled Citizens' Rights to prohibit yielding time to another speaker, renumbering and reordering as necessary, providing for an effective date.
Thank you, City Attorney. City Manager, any brief explanation?
No, sir, it's just making the diocese run smoother, sir.
Thank you. City Commission, this is a public hearing, so I'll open up the floor for this public hearing on ordinance 2023-07. Are there anyone in the audience who wish to speak on this ordinance? Hearing none, I close the public hearing. City Commission, having had ordinance 2023-07 properly read into our minutes by our city attorney, properly explained by our city manager, properly had a hearing, what is your pleasure?
Mayor Bab, I move to accept ordinance 2023-07.
A second.
It has been moved by Commissioner Bolden and properly second by Vice Mayor Mervin for the adoption of ordinance 2023-07. Call for questions. Hearing none.
See you have a question.
Commissioner Perez.
Yes. Did they read it? Because I didn't hear what it was. It's really hard to hear.
The minutes, the ordinance was read by the city attorney.
Okay, can you tell me the title of the ordinance?
It was read and there was public comment that was open and closed. Now you're on discussion.
So you cannot tell me what it's about.
Okay, it's on second reading, so you all got before each meeting, more than 5 days before.
Is this about giving the minutes to other people to speak?
Yes,
Or
ma'am.
is this about giving the commissioners 2 minutes?
Both. You were here at the last meeting and you commented on it, so it's the same item.
Okay, and I couldn't get my email. When was the day that it was published?
I don't know, but it's the same item that was published twice. So you all have it from 2 meetings, and you were here at the last meeting and you commented on it, and nothing's changed since that
So
meeting.
there's 2 publishments. There should be 2 publishments.
So it's here, I'll put it in your mailbox, but there's 2 items that's in your packet I passed around that was requested, and so it shows that it was legally noticed in the Palm Beach Post, so there's 2 documents for that. So it is done, and if you check your email, I also send it electronically. All these things that I presented today as copies.
Do you remember that you told Mark that I needed a laptop? So you know I don't have a laptop, and I do not have it on my phone.
I instructed him to.
We're getting off the subject as far as the ordinance. I mean, any additional question on the ordinance?
No, you're gonna pass it anyway, so go ahead.
Thank you. Hearing no additional question, are you ready for a vote? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Baldwin?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Milton?
Yes.
Commissioner Gonzalez?
No.
Commissioner Perez?
No.
Mayor Bath?
Yes. Motion passed by a majority, 3-2 vote. Now we'll move to resolution 2023-66, City Attorney.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Pahokee, Florida, authorizing the city manager to execute grant agreements between qualified applicants and the City of Pahokee for the COVID-19 residential utilities and rental assistance program, providing for an effective date.
Thank you, City Attorney. City Manager, give us a brief explanation.
Yeah, she's sick.
Thank you, Mayor. What we have here is 4 qualifying residents for a total of $3,430.48. Community and Economic Development Department recommends approval of Resolution 2023-66. I was looking for on page 21. Hold on here. 27. On page 27, you have Exhibit A that shows the 4 recipients and what they're going to receive.
Thank you, City Manager. City Commissions, having had Resolution 2023-66 properly read into the minutes by City Attorney, properly explained by City Manager, what is your pleasure?
Mayor, I move that we would accept Resolution 2023-66.
Second.
It has been moved by Vice Mayor Mervin and properly seconded by Commissioner Bolden for the adoption of Resolution 2023-66. Call for questions. Commissioner Perez.
One second, Commissioner Perez.
Go ahead, Commissioner.
Okay, so we allocated 225,000, and it says that it was a system program of $1,500 for qualified household. And you got 4 qualifying for 34, 30, 48, and I noticed that it was up to 1,500, but there's 3 that got like 1,000, and the other ones got under 1,000. But they requested more than that. What's the reason for that?
Well, Ms. LaCuria is not here to explain those questions. But when you look at what their requests were, I see the requested funds and the difference. It would have to be what was eligible of what they were submitting. Now, you say 225,000, but this is, we set aside 25,000 to help the Parker building. Is this some of those guys?
You also have residents that were previously approved for utilities and
To help the Parker building.
Yeah, you forgot?
No, what is that for? To help them do what?
To relocate.
But there were individuals.
Oh, the residents.
Yes, ma'am.
And do we have a tally on that?
I'm sorry, I was speaking with the clerk. I apologize. What was your question again?
Do we have a tally on the money that we used to relocate?
I plan on bringing a tally to our Monday, November 13th meeting.
Okay, so I will have to ask Nigeria this question, right?
We only had a few that applied for relocation.
Yes, to answer your question, yes.
Are there any additional questions pertaining to Resolution 2023-66?
And the balance. I like to have the balance on all the allocations that we did for the COVID, so I can see the numbers, please.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Hearing no additional question, are you ready for a vote? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Vice Mayor Murphy?
Yes.
All right, Commissioner Bolden?
Yes.
Commissioner Gonzalez?
Yes.
Commissioner Perez?
Yeah.
Mayor Bab?
Yes. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Thank you, Commissioners. Motion passed by the unanimous vote. Next, we'll move to Resolution 2023-67. City Attorney.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Pahokee, Florida, ratifying the city manager's execution of Amendment Number 1 to Grant Agreement Number L2104 between the City of Pahokee and the Florida Department of Environmental Protection. Attached hereto is Exhibit A, providing for adoption of representations, providing for an effective date.
Thank you, Madam City Attorney. City Manager, brief explanation.
Yes, sir. This is also another attachment that I gave to you guys right here. It's the agreement between the Florida Department of Environmental Protection Agency and the second page that was missing that shows the total amount. So there again, I've provided that. I also sent it to all commissioners in an email electronically. And this agreement is to ratify the execution of Amendment 1 to Grant Agreement number L2014 between the City of Pahokee and Florida Department of Environmental that was due to the agency no later than October 23rd of 2023, and it's extended into December of 2024.
Thank you, City Manager. City Commission, having heard Resolution 2023-67 properly read into the minutes by our City Attorney, properly explained by City Manager, what is your pleasure?
Mayor Bab, I move to accept Resolution 2023-67.
Second.
It has been moved by Commissioner Bolden and properly seconded by Vice Mayor Mervin for the adoption of Resolution 2023-67. Call for question.
Question.
Commissioner Gonzalez.
It says we received $270,000. When did we receive it?
It's reimbursable. We haven't received anything yet. We have to spend the money. Then in this type of grant, it is then reimbursed back to us.
Okay, because I'm asking, because it says right here, summary, City of Pahokee grantee received finding in the amount of $270,000 from the Florida legislature through specific appropriation line item 1693A. That's what I'm asking. It says we received it.
We've received approval legislative-wise for the money to be set aside. but I assure you, no money has been sent to us.
When you see that, it just means it was allocated, it was approved.
I mean, there's a difference though when it says received and allocated, it's two different things. So we have to
Go.
spend,
Gonzalez still has the floor. Just one moment, ma'am.
so we have to spend this to be reimbursed first.
Yes, sir.
Do we have that?
Yes.
Okay.
And we have, we've spent some monies because we did a relocation of the boundaries. So some things have been done, but it hasn't been a significant dent in it. And we, do we have, oh, she left. I just have to see if we've done our RFPs for this to get things moving.
So how much have we spent so far?
I have to get back with you tomorrow on it.
Okay.
I say it's under $10,000 so far.
Okay, thank you.
Mayor?
Was that money for drawing, engineering, architectural?
Same.
You said for widening?
Surveying is for surveying and plotting.
All right, I know that the amendment is for an extension of time, and what's the scope of work? Because it says that it,
Are you away from the mic? Because you sound distant.
no, well, I have the phone charged. Can you hear me now?
No?
You can't hear me?
I can barely hear you, and I have the phone up to the mic as well. So it's been extended so we can get the completion done. So basically, it's 12 months from the date of this, so it looks like actually it's October of 2024.
Okay, but did the scope of work change? Or what is the scope of work change?
I couldn't hear the last part you said.
Say why did I'm asking, did the scope of work change? Was it revised? Was it changed?
There were some things added, but I handed you the, well, you have, if you were here, you would have those things that you asked for. So on here, it has deliverable task on here. So when you look at your second page, 1 of 3, it goes through those deliverables.
Can you read them out?
Mayor,
Okay.
she's asking for me to read it out.
I don't
I
have
didn't
that.
want to take up so much time. I did as you guys asked me to give this stuff out to the commission 5 working days.
What is she asking to be read?
All I want him to do is to tell me the scope of work. The 3, he said, is 3 items. If it's 3 items, it shouldn't take an hour. Just to tell me what the scope of work was changed, it was amended. I want to know what it is. I don't have it in front of me.
Oh, because she didn't get that list, that's why.
It was not attached on the agenda. So he took it to the meeting, but I'm not there. Obviously, I don't have it.
Try-
I'm asking please to be read so I know what it is.
Even you can abbreviate it, go highlight what's the scope of work there, hopefully. It's small print too.
So it has on here that the Florida Legislature, through specific appropriation line items, General Revenue Fund, fiscal year 21-22, general appropriations, it says Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial Park, the authority of this project is specific in section 216-011 Florida Statute Monitoring and Auditing Guidelines. For the purpose of this agreement, the terms project element and project task are used interchangeably to mean an identified facility within the project. The project is located at 100 East 5th Street, Pahokee, Florida, and it just says, it just summarizes, all work must be completed in accordance with and including but not limited to the agreement. The agreement here is an extension of a one-year period to get it completed. December, well, on one line it has December 31st of 2023, effective through December 31st of 2024. The project completion is extended 1 year from October 31st of 23 until October 31st of 2024. Attachment 3, project work plan, is hereby deleted in its entirety and replaced with attachment 3A, revised project work plan, as attached to this amendment and hereby incorporated into the agreement. All references in the agreement agreed to attachment 3 shall herein refer to attachment 3A, revised grant work plan. I have to get with that because I don't see it here.
It wasn't given to me either. So if the project is completely revised, it was completely strong from what it was, and it's a new one. I'd like to know what is the new one. I don't know if I'm the only one that would like to know that. And that was not included in the packet. You don't even have it there.
Well, that's what I have here. That's the attachment that was left off. So basically, what we said we were going to do originally, which just kind of recapping things off the top of my head, is you're going to do the track field. We were going to remove all the playground equipment. We're going to remove the pavilion in the middle, the largest pavilion, and replace it and all the swing sets and jungle gym things. And one of the things in amending it, it makes more sense to move those things out of that area over to the right towards the gym, the basketball court, so that we can open up that whole field to be used as a multi-purpose field. So none of those things have changed.
Okay, are there any additional questions from the commission? Hearing none, are you ready for a vote? Roll call, Madam. Mr. Clerk.
Commissioner Bowden?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Mervin?
Yes.
Commissioner Gonzalez?
Yes.
Commissioner Perez? Commissioner Perez? Commissioner Perez? It's Carlos.
He's taking over for Ms. Adams. She wasn't feeling well. Your phone reception, something's going out. It's hard to hear.
Yes. So Commissioner Perez, what's your vote?
What was the question again?
Resolution 2023-67.
Okay, that's the
Okay, Mayor Babs.
Yes. What would Perez vote?
No.
Okay. Motion passed by a majority 4-1 vote. Now we move to new business, and we're gonna have that.
Just have the added one,
Right.
the resolution,
Okay.
2023-68.
23-68.
And that's this packet here, Mayor.
Okay.
Should I go for it, Mr. Mayor?
Yes, ma'am.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Pahokee, Florida, approving the First Amendment to the agreement with H. Kelly Marine LLC for emergency repair services pertaining to Marina Docks D, E, and F pursuant to a certain consent order and temporary use agreement between the State of Florida Department of Environmental Protection, the Board of Trustees of the Internal Improvement Trust Fund, and the State of Florida and the City of Pahokee, Florida, approving the amendment for the provision of electrical work to be performed consistent with Exhibit 1 hereto, and authorizing the city manager to take necessary action, providing for adoption of representations, providing for an effective date.
Thank you, City Clerk, City Attorney, City Manager. Could you give us a brief explanation?
Yes, sir. The City of Pahokee is in need of an amendment to the agreement with H. Kelly Marine LLC for the provision of immediate electrical services in order to complete the repair of the Marina docks prior to January 31st, 2024. The repairs to the docks D, E, and F are required in order to comply with the consent order entered into with the Florida Department of Environmental Protection. The city will be using funds that have been obtained from the ARPA funding. The amount of the current contract with H. Kelly Marine LLC is for $576,133,000, and the amendment with the increase to the contract is an additional $351,100 to complete the scope of work for electrical services for the 3 docks, and that's D, E, and F. The city manager is requesting authorization to move forward with an amendment to support electrical work being performed for an additional amount of $351,100 for a grand total of $927,233 contract. Staff recommends an amendment to the scope of work be added to the existing contract with H. Kelly Marine LLC.
Thank you, City Manager. City Commission, having heard Resolution 2023-68, properly read into the minutes by our City Attorney and properly explained by our City Manager. What is your pleasure?
Mayor, I move that we will accept Resolution 2023-68.
I second.
It has been moved by Vice Mayor Mervin and properly seconded by Commissioner Bolden that we adopt Resolution 2023-68. Call for questions.
Question. He's here. Is there something that you need to explain to us? Is he allowed to speak on?
If he has-
I understand in case you have questions to me.
Okay.
I have a question. I just kind of wanted to know what the basic explanation for, why we're having to do this.
So I'm Charles DeVito from H. Kelly Marine. Our original contract was just for replacing the decking and the substringers and the required bumpers that were missing. Upon starting our project, I think everybody knew that there was no electric on the docks to begin with. It was not part of our agreement. You guys tried to find electrical contractors to fulfill the deal. Nobody was qualified for marine electric that came. We brought 3 individual electrical contractors in. These people that we plan on using were the cheapest by, I think, the range of bids were from $350,000 to $620,000. We've worked with this company that we plan on using for your electric part of your project. We know that they will fulfill their commitment as we are fulfilling on an expeditious rate. Mayor was down at the docks the other day, and I encourage all of y'all to come down. We've only had our permit issued for 18 days so far. Dock F is completely redecked. It has water on it, and we're ready for electric. If that electric gets approved and gets onto the Dock F, you guys are gonna have your dock back before maybe a good Christmas for you.
I have a couple of questions. This is what you're charging for each dock to do electrical work.
That's a total price of.
Right, $200 for dock D. No, that says 200,000.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, you say 200.
That's what it said, 200,000. That's what it says. So why are we getting this then? If it's not his, why are we getting it?
I think he just giving you the quotes that was.
Can I help, Mr. Mayor?
Yes, ma'am.
So what you're looking at, Commissioners, the Amendment 1 are the numbers that were quoted as the lowest numbers, and H. Kelly Marine is going to do this under their contract, which helps you all get this done faster. So they're actually providing the insurance and bond and everything else, and they're using the electrical company as a sub. So this is to really help facilitate getting this done faster. So this is, this is a good thing for the city. This is something that you want to try to do. So Amendment 1 breaks everything down. You'll see the new language under the Amendment 1 under the dock section. So where it says Dock D, everything that's underlined is the new language, and that is the price now for Dock D with the additional costs broken down for electrical under that. Same thing with Dock E. The underlined areas are the additional work that's required for just the electrical and the additional cost that's associated with it. Same thing with Dock F. So, if you take a look at it, they did a good job in terms of putting the numbers or adding the numbers and then giving you a final with the electrical work as a total number for Docks D, E, and F. So hopefully that answers
my
your question.
personal opinion, they didn't do such a good job as for explaining how much electrical work is going to cost for each dock, because it's a total of the dock and the electrical work. There's nothing here separating the two. And my background is electrical, and if I go based by these numbers, you were way overpriced. And I'm just getting this right here. I'm just getting this right now.
Mr.
Says,
Gonzalez, no
we walked in.
disrespect intended, but if there was another qualified electrician that could do this project in the amount of time that you guys need this project done, with the qualifications that you require to do the work that you need to have done on that dock, another bid would have been here. The next lowest bid after this $350,100 was $500 and something thousand dollars, almost $200,000 more.
Nothing
If you were
personal,
a qualified
but these-
electrician, I would
these are-
recommend that you take the bid, check out the Marina, and try to bid the project yourself and see if you can qualify with the license requirements, the insurances, and the bonds that this city requires in order to do work here.
Where was this advertised at, this job?
We made calls.
You got a problem?
No, I was asking what do you mean advertise?
You got to
That's the
advertise
question.
it. You can't just give the
I didn't
job.
say- I asked a question. I realized, what do you mean, what? So I'm trying to hear what he says.
It's that we're constantly getting handed things in at the beginning of the meeting. Okay? I haven't even been through it. Okay, these prices are high for electrical work for out there. That is pretty high. It doesn't even separate. Like I said, no offense. I'm sticking to this, being professionally. You have a total price of each dock and electrical work being done together. It doesn't state a price per dock and for the docks and electrical separately. It's all together. How do we know what each dock is going to cost to do just electrical work?
There's a breakdown of how many linear feet of how many gauge wire. There's a it's not on.
There's no breakdown here.
It is in all of the bids that we.
I just asked him that. He showed me this.
It's in all the
You can
bids
see
that
this.
we
Mr.
accepted.
Mayor, I can help, I think. I'm looking at the old contract, if this helps, Commissioner. So under before the amendment, for instance, for for Doc D, it's, the original amount is 206,271, and then it goes up to 264,216 when you add the electrical for I'm sorry, let me get this right, looking at the wrong page. Okay, so the original contract is 206,271, and it goes up to 334,568 for Doc D. For Doc E, and that's with the electrical for that dock. For Doc E, the original amount is $165,012, and it goes up to $264,216. For Doc F, it is the original amount was $204,850, and it goes up to $328,449. And again, there were 3 quotes that were taken, and the next highest, well, the highest one was really high. I think it was in the $600,000 figure. And then there was another one which was
I gave it to him, it's for $550,000.
$550,000, and then this one was the lowest one. So again, you know, I don't want to be too repetitive, but this is good that this contractor was willing to do this, because it would have been difficult or it has been difficult to get another electrical contractor to do it independently of this contractor. First, they have to get a bond and do a lot of other things that would make it too costly for most companies to do. And then the larger companies that you got the higher bids from, it's you know, it's really cost prohibitive for the city. So this is a good thing for the city.
It's a good thing for the city if we have an electrical company come and do it for a reasonable price. My background is electrical. This is way overpriced. I'm sorry.
Are there any additional questions from the commission?
Yes, I have a question.
Commissioner Perez.
Okay, so there is 3 quotes. So the contractor that we have working on the dock, that's the one that got the RFQ for the electrical work.
No, there was no RFQ.
Pardon?
There wasn't an RFQ. This is being done under the existing contract where they're adding the electrical services to it. This has nothing to do with an RFQ.
So you just said that there was.
No, there were quotes. It wasn't a request for qualifications. They were just quotes that the.
That's what I said,
Yeah.
RFQ.
Well, but it's a different procurement process. But anyway, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yes, I know it's a different process.
That's not what an RFQ is normally referred to.
My question is, you said there was 3 on the contract.
There,
Is it the contractor, the one that got the RFQ? That's all I want to know. That's what I'm asking.
do you mean, did the contractor get quotes? Is that what you're asking?
Yes,
Yes, I think that's what he's, yes, that's what he said. Yes, that's what he said. He said he got the quotes. So,
He got the quote.
Okay.
Okay, so he got the 3 quotes. So it's $100,000 almost for each dock for the electrical.
Yes, ma'am.
What was the total increase of the contract?
it's in your staff report.
It's $351,100.
Okay, so that's now for electrical, and, okay, you're going through the contractor. So now when it comes to the pump house, that's gonna be another amendment to the contract, because the same contractor is gonna do the request for quote.
We have a solution to that. I'll be bringing it to the November 13th meeting.
Okay.
Okay. Are there any additional questions pertaining to this resolution? Hearing none, are you ready for a vote? Roll call, Mr. Clerk.
Vice Mayor Mervin,
Yes.
Commissioner Bolden.
Yes.
Commissioner Gonzalez.
Nope.
Commissioner Perez.
Can't hear her.
Okay, you got it. She said no.
No, she said something else.
It's not a debate at this point. Go ahead.
Mayor Babs.
Yes. Motion passed by a majority, 3-2 vote. Now we'll move to new business, which consists of presentation by the city manager of upcoming activity. We're going to include that in his city manager report. Now we'll move to the mayor report, which will be brief. I just want to thank the Florida League of Cities and especially Ms. Russell for coming down to present me with the proclamation, the John Land Years of Service Award. I really appreciate that. Secondly, we have tomorrow, read for the record, I think the city clerk asked each of the city commission whether or not they was going to participate. I didn't see the email, but I hope that we will. Okay. It's only going to be about a 10 to 15 minute read, but you'll be reading to classes. I know with Commissioner Bolden working there, maybe he still be able to read to his class and we'll get credit for that time. But I have the book. The person at the school have the book also. So who all coming now? I know Miss Adams is coming. I was hoping that Carlos and even our city manager would participate.
I told him I would be. Yes, sir.
When is it, Mayor?
Huh?
When is it?
Tomorrow at
no,
Pahokee Elementary School.
We have Palm Beach League of Cities meetings. I haven't went, so.
No, we'll be able to get out and be
I'm on
there.
the board, so I have
Yeah,
to be
this
there
is gonna
early.
be early though.
What time?
I'm on the board.
I'm asking now, what time did she indicate she wanted us to arrive, Mr. Luca? Didn't you speak to her today?
I did, but she said she was gonna send out a list, so I hadn't seen the time thing, because I asked for it. Okay, let's see here.
Y'all can cover for me.
Huh?
Cover for me. I would be at 9.
Yeah, all she says is that Miss Warner will serve as the contact
Okay,
person.
this would I suggest that we meet up at Pahokee Elementary at 9 o'clock. And then, again, it won't take no more than about 15 minutes at each of our time.
It's not tomorrow, tomorrow's the 25th, it's Thursday.
Oh, okay, Thursday, so we got
Thursday, 9 o'clock.
Okay.
We meet up, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that'll work.
That'll work.
Okay.
So everybody's expected to be there? Yes.
Yeah, most everybody, everything. Ms. Adams, Mr. Carlos, Mr. Lucas, and hopefully the 5 commissioners.
Where is this gonna be at?
At Pahokee Elementary, it called Read for the Records. And it's just a little elementary storybook here. The name of it is With Lots of Love, written by Jenny Torres Sanchez.
Do we have a copy of the book?
No, we don't.
Okay.
Someone at the school have it. Whoever the key person there has a copy of it. Then we have to just share the book, whoever you can get it last or whoever.
Thursday at 9.
And that conclude my mayor's report. Now we'll move to the city manager report for the city manager.
Thank you, Mayor. Just real quick, consensus to schedule a city commission meeting for Monday, November 13th at 6 p.m. I think everything.
Yes. I don't know what's the change, but because of we doing it in a different time and day, I would like for us to try to do it in the evening, a little earlier, for this special meeting. I don't know how others would.
What's the date, November 13th?
Yeah, Monday.
It's a Monday?
Yes.
At what time?
Our usual time is 6. Mayor's
If you want to
asking
stick
for it
with
to
the
start
6
early.
o'clock time, that's fine.
But what about
I mean,
Porter? I see you on one work.
no, but I think he get off with at 3:30 or 3 o'clock.
Yeah, I have other duties.
Okay. We'll stick with the 6 o'clock.
Yeah, I can make it back by that
Okay.
time.
Okay.
Just have to.
We'll stick with 6
November
o'clock.
13th.
It's a special meeting because our 2 for the month had got canceled, but we got at least have 1 by charter.
But it's a special meeting, we're only discussing one thing.
No, there's just gonna be,
Yeah,
It's a regular meeting, we're
Are we
scheduling at a
scheduled meeting or
different
a
time.
special meeting? Special meetings
Yes,
are
we
one item.
schedule.
yeah, no, it's not just one item. It can be whatever's agenda. You can only discuss what's on the agenda. That's all. That's all it means. Bless you.
It's a regular meeting, you just schedule a different day.
Reschedule.
Special
Yes.
meeting is, okay.
yes, ma'am.
Well, it's called a special meeting, but anyway, go ahead.
It's called special because we normally don't meet on that day.
Special people.
Yeah, right, but it's not a special meeting.
Correct.
Okay.
And that's for November 13th, 6 p.m. All right, then, just following up, Everglades Townhome update. They're beginning to clear the ground around the perimeter, and then they'll be moving in to look and consider the pylons, or what type of pylons they're going to use. I'm in discussion with them on a weekly basis now with the project manager, Kevin. Marina floating docks repairs are underway. Update, Dock F is near completion, and the work on tearing down Dock D has begun. We had completed last week grass abatement in Glade Citizen Villa last week. Public Works staff is working on East Lake Village street signage. I'll know more by end of week of where we're at with the machine and making signs, and no entry signs and one-way signs. Swimming pool, we're just finishing up touch-up paints are being completed. And then we need to schedule a ribbon cutting ceremony for the reopening of the pool. Did you guys want to do something this week, or is it too crammed, or you want to do it Monday, the 30th, before Halloween? Ribbon cutting for the Marina pool.
You got it being on the 31st, right?
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, but Monday's the 30th, right? Or
No, I'm just asking if you want a back-to-back event one day apart. I don't know. I don't have a preference either way. Doesn't matter.
okay. All right, I'll send a schedule around. All right, so capital improvement. Basically, these were our projects for 23, 24 on the last page. Barfield Highway still planned for March 2024. We're looking at, we did do the bidding process. I have to double check with Ms. Adams, who's the project manager on MLK for the Phase 4 roads. We're in discussion with engineering, with WGI for McClure. Then stormwater drain improvements, we hadn't planned anything yet. Sidewalks, we hadn't done that. And then We have a revised MLK Park Improvement Project to bring forth. We'll bring forth some plans on that come our next meeting, which is November 13th. Basically, we have to look at allocating our surtax money for a lot of this infrastructure things, technology here at the city. There's a couple of replacements of laptops. You guys got to let me know how your current laptops are doing, how they holding up, because the oldest two so far is Mayor Babb and Commissioner Perez. So I got to get those replaced, and then I'll touch base with each one of you and see how your laptops are functioning. And just real quick, we have events coming up. So tomorrow we have at Westlake Avenue Park is the Palm Beach County Luncheon. That's basically from noon to 1. We have our Fall Festival here on Halloween, 5:30 to 8:30. We have November 1st, Wednesday, Homecoming Parade. Friday, Muck Bowl here in Pahokee. We have PBSO National Night Out Thursday from 5 to 8 at Glades Pioneer Park. We have I Still Need Names for Veterans for Veteran Day celebration November 9th. We have Thanksgiving turkey giveaways for November 21st, sorry. And then you have the holiday parade, which will be Monday, December 4th. And then you have the holiday toy giveaway, which is December 18th. And then January 13th will be MLK Parade and Extravaganza. That's it for me, Mayor.
You mentioned the Muck Bowl, but then there's a Muck Bowl dinner that Thursday.
It's Thursday?
I think we all got an invitation, should have an invitation.
Okay. Muck Bowl.
And next we'll move to the city attorney report.
No report, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, ma'am. Now we move to the future agenda items of city commission, if any. Anyone have any agenda item they would like to move forward? Hearing none, we'll move to the commission comments for the good of the order. We'll start with Commissioner Gonzalez.
Well, all I want to say is that we're constantly being handed over documents, and there's not one of you people up here, not one of y'all three, have picked up the documents in reference to the docs. I watched y'all. Y'all were not reading through them. I've been keeping a close eye on y'all. For y'all to vote on something that you didn't even go through, it's ridiculous. You guys didn't even go through it. This is on video. So you can deny it's on video. How can you vote on something that you haven't read? We gotta do better than this. People, I'm not saying nothing wrong against H. Kelly. I hear they're doing a good job out there on the docks. I'm not gonna knock them down. But I have a problem when we're constantly voting on things, passing things without doing research. We're only going by he say, she say. We gotta do better than that. All of us up here said we care about the city, we care about the people. Question yourself, do you really care about the city when you're not even doing research on it? You're just going ahead and saying yes. We gotta do better than that.
Hey, Commissioner Bolden.
I feel like this was a very productive meeting. Thanks to everyone who attended and everyone who's watching through our YouTube channel. Like I said, I feel like this has really been a very productive meeting. I'm really happy about that. Other than that, I don't have anything else to say.
Thank you. Vice Mayor Murphy.
First, I'd like to say just congratulations to you, Mayor, on the tenure with the been an elected official for over 30-plus years. I want to thank you for that. But I just have one comment, and maybe it might be to the attorney or either to the city manager. One of the comments was about deals, and I know I am also with that, those blighted buildings, those homes, and I know code have put, stickers on them, and I know they're privately owned property. What is the next step that the city can do? Because, I know that some of them is only abatementless, like where the city has to go out and cut the grass or what have you like that. But I know you cannot touch the property itself since it's like it's privately owned. But once the code have put in, and notify the owners or try to notify the owners, what's the next step into those? And that's number one. Number two, it's not just those homes. If you ride through the city of Pahokee, it's some business owners, it's some businesses that need to be facelift to bring up to look apart to newer and modern, facial to make the city look better. But so it's not only just those. We do have a lot of blighted buildings within the city of Pahokee, blighted property that needs to be cut. What is the next step from that?
Okay, if the question is directed to me. Without having a whole nother meeting, I can tell you in short, the properties get liens against them, and our firm has been able to get quite a bit of money back for the city where people go to sell, and we participate in making sure the city is represented in the foreclosure actions. So that's one thing. Another thing is through the special magistrate process. There is one case in particular that the city is looking to abate the nuisance, and if it doesn't, the city is asking that the property be demolished, and that it go through a process to do that. There is and also foreclosure in that particular case that I'm thinking about. So there are things that the city is doing, has done, and there are cases where if the property is so bad and the conditions are so egregious and it's a life, health, safety concern, the building official can be very aggressive and make certain determinations under his authority. And then under that case, the property can be, closed down and abated in that way. So there are a number of different things. I think some things are happening, and then other things need to go through, your code enforcement process that where it goes to the special magistrate, and it is the nuisance is sort of abated in that way because there are fines again, and some people come into compliance, and then you have some cases where people don't. So that's a very short answer to hopefully address some of your concerns. But I do know that management can probably talk to you offline about specific things that are going on with certain specific properties.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
No, you was finished.
I'm done. Yeah, go ahead.
Commissioner Perez.
Of the
Thank you. I'll entertain a motion for the adjournment.
So moved.
Been moved by Vice Mayor. Second by Commissioner Bolden. Call for question, hearing none. You ready for a vote? Roll call. Madam Mr. Clerk.
Vice Mayor Mervin,
Yes.
Commissioner Bolden,
Yes.
Commissioner Gonzalez,
Yes.
Commissioner Perez,
Yes.
Mayor Babs.
Yes, motion passed by unanimous vote.